Hi, everybody. Al Bernstein here with something new on our channel. We're going to kick off a new feature that we'll be doing weekly, and it's going to be boxing hot topics. Each week, I'm going to pick 3 hot topics in the sport of boxing and tell you all about them. Topic 1, the WBC Grand Prix Tournament, which began this weekend on DAZN from Saudi Arabia. It's a fascinating concept in which the WBC, in collaboration with Turkey Al-Sheikh, created a tournament in which there are 128 fighters in 4 weight divisions, in featherweight, super lightweight, middleweight, and heavyweight. Each division has 32 fighters in it. And over the course of 4 days, this weekend, they all competed. There were 16 matches in each weight division. And it's single elimination, and each fighter, the winners, will move on. And in several months, will fight each other again in the second round, phase 2 of the tournament. It was very entertaining. There were fighters from 41 countries involved, and it was very much an international flavor where there were people that were rooting them on, and each of them representing their country, and that added, I think, a lot to the presentation. There were spectacular knockouts, there were super competitive fights, and there were breakout performances by a number of fighters during the course of this first phase of the tournament. It's on DAZN. I urge you to go take a look at it. And while you may not watch every single match from all 4 days, I urge you to take a look at it and check out the highlights on DAZN. And then you can go back and check out the full matches that you want to see. But it's really was a very good beginning. Congratulations to Mauricio Suleiman at the WBC for helping to push forth this idea that his father, Jose, was always anxious to do. And Mauricio, I know, is very excited that this tournament got off the ground. And it was, I thought, very, very entertaining. And as it moves on, it's going to produce some fighters that will be thought of as contenders. And even some of the people that lost close decisions in the first round, we see that they're very talented fighters, and this gave them some extra exposure and a chance to be seen by a lot of people. So I urge you to go check it out on DAZN. It's very, very entertaining. Hot topic number 2 is the fight coming up this weekend on April 26th between Chris Eubank and Conor Benn. This is a fight in which these young men are reliving past history. Their fathers, of course, Chris Eubank and Conor Benn Sr., fought each other in 2 epic battles that created so much excitement in the 168-pound division. Now they're sons. After a long maturation process of this fight happening, will be battling each other in London on Saturday, April 26th. You can see that on DAZN as well. So much, and that will be a pay-per-view event. There is so much drama connected to this fight. Now, each of these fighters are really at different points in their career. Chris Eubank Jr. is 35. I announced some of his fights way back 10 or 12 years ago when I was doing boxing on Channel 5, over-the-air network in the UK. And Conor Benn at 28 is in a different phase of his career. He still has yet to fight super top competition. Chris Eubank will certainly be the best fighter he has fought yet in his career. Eubank has been in against top fighters and suffered a few losses, but gotten a few wins as well. So despite that, though, the interest in this fight, and the main reason it is interesting, is because of the history of these 2 men. And to further fuel it, the lead into this fight has been fascinating, to say the least. First, there was the the drug issues that Ben had previously about performance-enhancing drugs. They had to get past that. Then, when they finally did make everything happen and the two fighters met for the first time, of course, there was the egg incident, in which Chris Eubank smashed an egg on the face of Conor Benn. Yes, I didn't make that up. And then that incident spawned Chris Eubank Sr. publicly speaking out against his son for doing that, which was, a strange development, also, to say the least. And so this fight has had many, many, many intriguing and odd twists and turns to it. How will it play out in the ring? Well, both men, I think, stylistically will match up okay with each other. And I think it's a fight that most people believe either one might win. And I think part of the question will be whether Conor Benn at this point has the experience to deal with Eubank, who has fought more seasoned fighters, or will the Eubank experience win out, or maybe the youth of Ben will be the difference in this fight. In any case, this fight will have very big interest and implications across the pond. There are people in the United States who are certainly interested in the fight and will watch it. And it just doesn't maybe resonate the same way it does across the pond in the UK. But as many of you are watching this there, I totally understand why this fight has its important implications to people that have been longtime fans of either Chris Eubank or Conor Benn back in the day, when those great 168-pounders in Great Britain were battling it out. Steve Collins, Michael Watson, Joe Calzaghe, of course, and others. And there was a great era for the 168-pounders in Great Britain, and Eubank and Benn, of course, were central to that. So interesting this weekend. We'll see who ends up being victorious in the Eubank Jr. Benn matchup. Now, hot topic number 3 has to do with a fight that was just not officially announced, but revealed by Ring Magazine. Mike Coppinger broke the story. And it is a fascinating card at a fascinating time. On July 11th, there will be, of course, the Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor fight in New York City at Madison Square Garden. Well, apparently now, the very next night, probably at the Barclays Center, maybe at MSG, but that seems unlikely, in New York, there will be a very impressive match. It's part of the Ring Magazine, the Ring series of fights. And it's going to feature Edward Berlanga taking on Hamza Shiraz in a 168-pound fight. Shakur Stevenson having his battle with William Zepeda in a much-anticipated 135-pound match, and a very good 140-pound match, and aren't there so many in that weight division, Albert Puello putting his title on the line against former champion Subriel Matias. And then David Morrell, who, of course, is a very good light heavyweight who just lost that epic battle against David Benavidez, will take on Imam Katev. And this card, which is stacked with what I think could be very entertaining fights, is really an interesting one. This is one of those fights where the Riyadh season folks get a bunch of promoters to participate with fighters. I mean, in this case, you have the Matchroom, you've got PBC, Salida Promotions with Subriel Matias, and others. Frank Warren's group, Queensberry, is a part of it. There's all kinds of promoters that are participating by allowing their fighters or pushing their fighters into this fight. And so this is a great, great card of boxing. The Berlanga Shiraz fight is fascinating because Shiraz has coming off a less than excellent performance against Carlos Adames, in which he had a draw for the middleweight title. And now here he is moving up to 168 pounds and immediately gets a significant challenge from Berlanga. Berlanga, of course, he hangs his hat on, ironically, a loss to Canelo Alvarez, which was some people felt that his performance in that fight, even in losing, kind of raised his stock. And he is certainly a 168-pound contender, and this will be, I think, a very interesting matchup. The Shakur Stevenson-Zepeda fight, a great clash of styles. Stevenson, the master boxer, puncher, mostly boxer, and Zepeda, the body-punching tornado, who is a very active and busy fighter. That fight's fascinating because in his last two fights, Zepeda has fought, he's fought lefties in, I think, 3 or 4 of his last fights at least. Maybe, I think this will be the 5th, actually. But the lefty he just fought twice in a row, Tevin Farmer, has a style very similar to Shakur Stevenson. But I think we could safely say Tevin Farmer is not quite on the level of Shakur Stevenson, if for no other reason, because Farmer was coming up in weight. And while he's a very fine fighter, Stevenson is on the highest echelon of boxing right now. So that is a fascinating fight. Will the boxing of Stevenson bedevil the aggressive power punching and body punching of Zepeda? Stevenson will certainly be the favorite in that fight. Now, the Puello-Matias fight, Alberto Puello and Subriel Matias, one that fascinates me on this card. As everyone knows, I love the 140-pound division, and this one is one of the many fights in that division that are good ones. I have done a number of fights of both of these men. I did the fight where Puello won his title and where he defended it, and I've also done several fights with Subriel Matias where he won his title and defended it. It's also an interesting style matchup because Puello is more of a long reach boxer. He's a lefty. He can punch some, but he likes to have space. Subriel Matias, of course, is a whirlwind. He is all about pressure. And at his best, which he has been in every fight pretty much, except for his loss to Liam Paro, he is a guy that comes in, throws big power punches. He's vulnerable early in the fight, but once he gets past the first couple rounds, it's very tough to stop Subriel Matias. Now, Puello, I did the fight with Puello and Batir Akhmedov, and there was that was a very close fight. Decision could have gone either way. Akhmedov has a style much like Matias, but he is not the puncher that Matias is. Matias has more power. So this fight, I think, promises to be a terrific matchup and probably a 50-50 matchup. And Morrell and Katev, who is David Morrell showed in the David Benavidez fight that he is, in fact, a superb fighter, because even in that loss, he performed exceedingly well and was facing, a man who is quite obviously one of the top 175-pounders in the world, maybe the best. We'll find that out maybe in the future, depending on whether the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol fights him after their rematch. And Katev is a big power puncher. He's 10-0, and he throws with power. And so his mission will be to hurt David Morrell and try and knock him out. So this card on July 12th, I think, is really, really intriguing and could end up being one in which all 4 of the main fights are wildly entertaining to us. So with that said, that's our 3 topics, hot topics for this week. We'll see you next time.